Stitching Plaza Knits, a podcast primarily about knitting and sewing, a little bit of crocheting as well. I'm GeorgeAnne, your host for this podcast, and it is April 24th, Tuesday here in San Diego, California. Welcome back. It's been 2 weeks since my last podcast. I'm very excited to say that, as it wasn't a super long time between talking to you, and I have been very, very excited in getting this podcast ready. I have noticed something about myself that now not only am I just knitting to knit, I'm knitting to produce. And I like that because I have a tendency of ripping stuff out and not having completed items. And as my friend Jessica reminded me, we're knitting to finish items. So I have a lot of good stuff to show you today. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get the administrative stuff done. I am Stitching Plaza on Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry. We also have a Ravelry group, Stitching Plaza Knits. And if you come in and introduce yourself, you will definitely get a shout out. I hope you join us. And to all my new viewers, welcome. Any of the returning viewers, thank you for coming back and giving us another look-see. I am going to do a little sneak because I don't think I mentioned that you would get a shout out on my last podcast, but we've had a couple of new subscribers in the Ravelry group, and I hope I'm pronouncing your names right. It's Harkness Angel from Maryland, Jimmer's Gal in California, Mally D 218 South Carolina, Philly Teacup in Portugal, Missy K. Schmidt of Georgia, and Pearl Wise in the UK. So welcome to the group. And like I said, if you come into the Ravelry group and introduce yourself, I will definitely give you a little shout out. And thank you again for coming along and joining us. We're going to have a lot of goodies coming up. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the episode. But right now we're going to be, like I said last week, I want more activity. I want to do more things in the group and make this as much fun as we all can have. So we're here for the goodness. I have ask you a question though. I need help with this back wall. I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet. Thinking maybe a poster. It's kind of bland. I look like I'm about to give a mug shot. And above me is a shelf which has some of my husband's Navy goodies. We have his reenlistment flag, a couple of things, a couple memorabilia from things we've done together, but also we have a family sand heart. So when we got married, it was the kids, my husband, and myself all pouring sand into the heart as our two families became one. So that's very special and dear to me. And other than that, we've been waiting for our truck to finally come back from the car accident. We're driving it, but it's still not the truck that we once had. It was the second time we got rear-ended from behind, so we were really concerned that the truck was going to get totaled, which it was not. And now we're thinking that Thursday is the last appointment that we're going to have to go through before it becomes officially our truck, and it'll be a good truck again. My husband actually bought the truck, I believe, 4 months before he met me, so the truck's older than our relationship. It's a love relationship with me and the truck. But you're not here to hear about that or my wall. You're here for the yarny goodness. So let's just dive right in, shall we? In my project bags, I have a couple of things still going on. Last week I talked a little bit about this. It is a thin blue line sock. Last week it was just here. Well, this week it's a hoe and a half. I finished this up, zipped along, made my goal, finished it up while we were at the doctor's office with my son. Got it done, immediately cast on. I don't really suffer from second sock syndrome, but I cast it on, brought it out with me Saturday night. We went to play bingo. I have up here in Eastern San Diego. I was playing at Cosmic Bowling. really interesting. It was really dark. We had an amazingly good time. But then I stopped because there was all this other pretty goodness over here, and I had to stop. But this is Regia, and I don't have the color band to tell you the color number. But again, my full instructions for it, because Hub's foot is so big, are on my Ravelry page. It starts out as a 34 stitch cast on each side. Yeah, 34 stitches on each, so that's 68. Go to the heel, increase to 72, and then I do I think this is only 12 rows of ribbing for his leg. He wanted this to be extra long, so this is actually a 9.5-inch leg for him. And he's like, can it be longer? No, it can't be longer because then I'll never get the other sock done. Silly man. So we have a hoe and a half. But that is on the ground now. That is still going to get finished. I promise myself by the end of this month I'm going to have his socks done. Not that he's not sock worthy, but that's a lot of knitting, and he's on a 2.75. So sometimes I just want to see a little bit more progress. So one of the prettiest things that called my name, this Dobby was a frill, or is a frill. This is Nomadic Yarns, and I have only a hoe on this one. This was done on my carbon needles, 2.25s, 12 stitches, 24 stitches cast on, increased to 64. Fish lip kiss heel, 14 rows ribbing. The heel, toe, and cuffs are knit picks in their Merlot heather, and I think this is just so pretty. I love, even though it's self-striping, I really like this thicker light tan, and how it's just, you can tell they're hand dyed. It's not a commercial self-striping yarn. But that is what I'm working on too. So we have another doctor's appointment. I'm going to, as much as I want to bring these, I will bring the thin blues, and I will finish those while I'm at the doctor's appointment with my son. So we have those two things going on. I worked on my miter squares, and I worked on my miter square blanket a lot this past, well, I thought it was a lot, but I ended up getting a hole in my finger because I'm an English knitter. So what I'm doing now is on my miter squares, I am trying to learn, I guess it's continental, and I crocheted first. I crocheted since I was 6 years old. And my friend Jessica keeps telling me that I should be able to do this much easier because I know how to hold the tension in my left hand. But I can crochet with my left, but I knit with my right for the tension, and it's still really hard. But I did, let's see, this, wow, I just realized a bunch of these might be new. This one is new, this one is new, and this one I'm working on. These were all done, or are being done, in the continental knitting. I'm not seeing much of a difference in my tension, so I think I'm kind of getting it. But I figured this is a simple, stressless, short rows, learn the rhythm. I want to be able to go continental and English, especially when you put a hole in your finger, because these are done on Addy Sharps, and when you push it, I definitely get the finger hole. And it's amazing how when you know you have the hole in your finger, your needle automatically goes there. You can't do anything to avoid it. It just keeps going in. I have a bit of a callus, but I think the callus doesn't even stop it anymore. And as you can tell, I was going to do these in 9 square blocks, and I was talking to my husband, and we have a queen size bed, and he's like, well, why don't you just do them, you know, all, and then see what you want to do. So what I'm going to try to do is make it, I'm going to go across and then go up a little bit more, And maybe I'll just make these really bigger squares and then log cabin them in. I will tell you though, as I'm knitting other projects, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should just knit my miter square blanket square now, and then I'll go back to knitting the project. And I'm trying to discipline myself not to do that, because I've done that before with my crochet blanket, and I cut myself too short on certain things. So that wasn't a smart idea. So then we have the miter square progress, and I'm very excited to say that my sister's shawl has come out of hibernation, and I've been working on it. I have not ripped out anything like I was talking about last week. So let's see, where was I last week? I was right here. I was in the middle, and I've done all that. And I've made a couple mistakes in the honeycomb or the lace overs, but this is for me, and I'm proud of myself that I've gotten it back on the needles, and I'm working away at it. I am determined to get this finished, like I said, before the end of summer, or before the beginning of summer. So I take back what I said about anything nasty on my shawl. I do still love my colors. I'm thinking this will definitely work with my coloring. If I need to, depending on how much of the mango I still have, I will probably rip back. See, I do a lot of ripping back, and do the tails in yellow. And I think that might work. But again, this is one where I'm going, I should put that mango square in my blanket right now. Yes, I should do that. I could do that, but I'm not going to. Self-control. So those are projects that were started. You might have seen a little bit of it. But then I did a Molly Klein Design has a really beautiful wrap out there. And it reminded me of a little bit of the fade shawl, because you can do it like a fade, but I grabbed it and cast it on with the Michigan Avenue shawl. And I'm so proud because I've been calling it the Market Street shawl, because we have a place here in San Diego called Market Street. So it's the Michigan Avenue, and my husband is from Chicago, so good me. And I am doing this in, there we go. And this is going to be black, teal, and gray. And I am using, it's made in DK weight, and I didn't have any DK in my stash. Now stay with me, because this kind of makes sense. So I'm going to gift this to somebody who is she's amazing. She's my son's therapist, and she travels a lot to Seattle, and she's going to Switzerland with her son. And I wanted to give her something that she didn't have to worry about, especially as a doctor and a mother with a child on the spectrum. I wanted something for her that she could just throw in the wash machine if she needed to get it washed. So I actually went to Michael's, and I got the Loops and Thread Joy DK. And I have to tell you, it's nice. It's really, I'm not an acrylic hater. At one point, I was only indie dye. If it's not from Etsy, I didn't want it. I would go to my local yarn shop, and really, I didn't want Cascade. I wanted the indie dyes. Well, somewhere in my roots, my grandma started me with Sayella yarn. Now, we're talking the 70s, people. I'm sure some of us have that in our stash, because I think I found that in like a bag that has never been unpacked since I was little. Sorry, it's my Diet Coke. But my nanny never had a problem with acrylic, even though there were fine fibers out there. So I started really thinking that there is nothing wrong with gifting a project made in acrylic. It's the care and the thought and the energy behind it. It doesn't have to be, which brings me to a whole nother story, which I am going to share with you in a minute. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to talk about it now. You know why? Because it's amazing. The notes page. So in working in this, I have realized that maybe I'm probably not the only one that thinks acrylic has its places, because if I was the only person, Michael's and Joanne's and would not be doing the business that they do. But they're not the only commercial, that they're the acrylic people, but also Cascade's a commercial yarn. Reggie is a commercial yarn. So those are very acceptable when you're hand knitting. So let's try something here. And in doing this, I talked to my friend Jessica, who is Army Wife Knitting Wife, and we came up with the idea of doing a big box make-along. So it's listed in our Ravelry group, and the idea is to make something other than indie dye for yourself for a holiday. And if it's acrylic, it's acrylic. If it's Cascade, Regia, Knit Picks, Premier Yarns, Loops and Thread, just the idea is to make something that you enjoy that's not indie dye. I'm not a hater of indie dye. You guys know I love it. And we'll see what we'll come up with for those. But this is just a way for us to remember that this is a yarn that's acceptable. Not all of us can afford $150, $175, $200 for that custom dyed yarn that's wool from an indie dyer. And I would love to support all of them. But sometimes you just got to keep your 40% coupons and go to Hobby Lobby and get what you can. And this is really the make-along for anybody like that. And with the make-along, it's called the Big Box Along. It's running through September 1. The idea is to make stuff for the holidays. There's going to be one group in the Ravelry that's finish and chat. So we will have 3 winners, and the prizes will be listed, but it will be a pattern, a ball of Regia, and a bag. 3, like I said, 3 separate prizes. You will get double points if you show the picture of a Michigan Avenue wrap or an Apia cow. Because the Apia cow, oh, I'm wearing it. Look at that. I finished it. This is off my needles. It took me 8 days. It took Jessica, I think, a day and a half. I did this in the large. And here, this is indie dye. Totally love it. And it really worked well with variegated yarn. But if you pick up a ball of Croy, you can make this. And Croy, when it washes, is really soft. So this is a pattern by Hilary Smith Callis. So if you make one of these, in even Malabrigo, this would be awesome in Malabrigo. Or a Michigan Avenue wrap by Molly Klein Designs, you will get 2 entries. We'll run it, we'll have a random generator, and we'll pick 3 winners. So I hope you join us for that. But so now you see my Apia, and I really, like I said, I blocked it, did not block it aggressively, just threw it in soak for about 20 minutes, laid it out on the blocking board. It is beautifully soft. This is Geektastic Fibers yarn in the John Locke colorway, like I told you last week. And I have a feeling this is going to be the Christmas present for everybody this year, because again, 8 days. This is definitely going to be made up. It could be made in a smaller size. It can be made in a large. I did do a couple of modifications, which are on my project page, to make the opening bigger, because I wasn't sure how much I wanted it to drape. So this is mod. This is not written to pattern. This has 3 complete repeats, whereas the paid pattern has 2. And like I said, it's a paid pattern, so I don't want to give away too much. But it really it doesn't have that big bulk around your neck, so if you're in the cold states, your coat is going to hold that down, and it's going to really be on your chest where you want to keep it warm. Or when you're in an office, it's got just enough that you can put it up there and you'll still be warm in the office, and your recipient will be. So these, it's definitely going to be the Christmas of Apia cowls. Might have to sneak in another cowl because I have a feeling I'm going to get addicted, because I can never just do one thing. So it might be socks and cowls and wraps and sweaters, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting way ahead of myself on the sweaters, but you know that I want to do those. So come to the Ravelry group, check out the make-along on this. But I also have another finished object. It's out of bag with my, let's take this one off, my goldfish wrap. This is by Teacup, and it is massive. It is, okay, that's my wingspan, and it's flying. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, see? Again, did a couple of mods because I chose colors that probably needed a little bit more of a contrast. I think if I make this again, I will definitely use 3 distinct colors and not all in the family, not 2 in the same family group. But this is Whimsical Yarn, is, let's see, this dark green variegated. The white speckled is Plymouth Happy Feet commercial yarn. And then the black is an Indie Dyer Up North Yarns. It's Granite. And this was only 130 stitches, but really warm. It's going to come out with me when we're going to go see Avengers. Yay! And I think this will be definitely coming with me to the movies. It's long enough to wrap around my shoulders. It also is if I had a winter coat, these would be so wonderful, but I don't wear winter coats. I don't think I've worn a winter coat since my son was born. But yeah, look at that. It pops. And I like, it kept me interested. There's a reason it's called the goldfish wrap, because you get to the point where you've had enough of one stitch pattern and it switches. It's dory. It's definitely a dory. So this was also finished. I got 2 things done in 2 weeks, and I had other projects. I am so totally proud of myself. That's what that was going. So, yeah, it's funny when you, no matter how warm it is here, you put something like this on your neck and then you take it off and you're like, ooh, that was feeling nice. But yeah, this is funny to try to block. I don't have enough blocking pads, so it was kind of a soak it and see how it works and kind of lay it out, hopefully. And it came out really nice. It's mostly garter stitch. The lace opened up really, really well, I think. Give me a better shot of that. So the lace opened up, and then I did the mesh in there, which wasn't in the pattern, but I had just been working on the sister shawl, and once I started it, I had to keep going. So that was in and out of my bags. We have a plate. Now, new to the bags. Oh my gosh. I've been terrible with acquisitions this week. But, you know, in my defense, it was local yarn shop day. And I went a little happy. It's really nice. We're blessed here. We have about 6 local yarn shops, all not a terrible driving distance. I think the longest for me would be 35 minutes, and that would be going up to North County on the coast. But I stayed local. I really did stay local. I went to Apricot Yarns and Needlecraft Cottage, both in San Diego, and I had to spread the love around. So I picked up this beautiful Malabrigo. Like I said, this is going to be the summer of cows, because I can definitely see that as a cow. And this one reminded me of Hedwig. It's Happy Feet yarn by Plymouth, and it is, what is this? There's a lot of yardage on. Wow, it's only 384 yards, but it's soft and smushy. And what's the fiber content? It's 90 superwash and 10% nylon. So yeah, really cushy on this. Malabrigo, you know, this is 100% superwash. So again, supported my local yarn shop. I was really, really proud. And then I came home and I had more yarny goodness. I discovered this yarn. It was her birthday and she was having an awesome sale. This is Yarn Slinger Mistress, and this is her Sherlock. And I will put her website. She has some incredible stuff. She's over here in the Midwest, Southwest, sorry. She is in Arizona. Look how sweet her tag is. Look at that. And this is 75-25, 463 yards. So this is, thank goodness, cuddle your yarn. Always cuddle your yarn. It needs love. And also, I realize when you have dreams about yarn, you kind of have to give into it because that's what you have to do. Well, Vegan Jilly has been destashing some of her yarn, and a lot of it has been coming to live with me because I like adopting yarn. And she had this amazing yarn jar yarn, and it's Mrs. Potts. So what's a girl to do? I'm a purple girl, and I also love Beauty and the Beast. So as soon as both of those other pairs of socks get off the needles, this is the one that's going to go on. I'm pretty sure. Maybe. I'm like 40%, 50% sure that this might be the one, because I have to start knitting Christmas socks. I wore Christmas socks last year once, and I like it. But I was looking for a red from Knit Picks, and they have a lot of Merlots and Heathers. I wanted a real red for Christmas, so I picked up these two little babies. Both are West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply, and I got these through Simply Socks. They're on the interwebs, and I'll put a link here. They're not sponsoring me or anything. It's just they have a really good selection of the West Yorkshire Spinners. So much so that, again, purple girl, look at that. When this knits up, it looked a lot different than what it's here. So we'll see. It's called, oh gosh, I don't even know what it's called, but it's 06 in the colorway. It looked light and frothy. So these are all 437 yards, 75-25. If I know John won't want these because they're too girlish. Yes, but I have another Cascade prints coming that he will have these for the toes. We do a Christmas party every year with the Paralyzed Veterans of America, and my husband's job is to wear the ugliest Christmas sweatshirt he can find. So I am going to class him up a bit this year and give him really cool socks. And then as his elf, I need really cool socks. So those are those acquisitions. And then, let's see, what else? So that's all that came in the mail. No, I lied. I apparently lie a lot on this. It's been, like I said, I was very naughty with acquisitions. This lovely goodness has arrived. This actually arrived right after my last podcast, so it wasn't local yarn shop day. But this is from Heartland Use, and she's out of Oklahoma, and it's called Tiffany's Got a Gun, and it is that beautiful Tiffany blue with gray, and it is again 7525, and she's doing a really great, Joni is doing a great collaboration with someone who I really enjoy for stitch markers. I like the no snag stitch markers, and Dava of Spunky Doodles does these little great ones. I like these because when you're photographing, they're not, don't get me wrong, I really like a good cute stitch marker, but there's something really nice about just having a functional ring that won't get caught in your knitting. Let's see, there we go. And they arrive in this great little clear plastic. I think they come in maybe sets of 6. Don't quote me on that. But there's something you can just throw in the bottom of your stitching bag, and they're there, and they're great. And she says they're no snags, and they don't snag. I really appreciate that. So these two are running a collaboration together on their Etsy shop, on the Etsy shop for Heartland Use, and I think Spunky Doodles is also doing it. But if you go to Heartland Use, she has given us a free shipping code, and this is good for free shipping in both the U.S. and international, and it's Geek Knitting, and I'll put it up here. I'll put it there. GeekNitting. I've saved $1 on shipping because that means I can buy more. So give Joni and Dava a look, and again, I love my indie yarn, but I'm expanding my collection. And then lastly, I got this really beautiful gift. A couple of weeks ago, my doctors called me and told me after fighting almost 11 years, I was cancer-free. The last time I heard that I had cancer, it was get that stuff out now. And I think that I had thyroid cancer last time, and my doctor was so sweet. He was like, you might have a little scar. We can always come in and do plastic surgery. I am proud of my very, very little scar. I kicked butt and did well, but I announced it on my Instagram, and these really sweet people sent me a product of theirs called, let's see, the ICU Handle. And I had to explain this to I think this is such a great idea. I was explaining to Michael the other day that when I was working in an office, we used to have cakes, and somebody would always bake a cake, and then as time progressed, people stopped baking cakes, and then it was cookies, or then it was simplified to cupcakes. Well, this makes it really easy if you're buying somebody a cup of coffee from your local Starbucks or Java Joe's or something like that. It's a birthday in a bag. I'm trying to do this very quietly without making a lot of noise, and I don't think it's going to work. So the idea is, again, not sponsored by McDonald's, but there's my handy dandy cup. Let's see. There's a plastic holder. You put the candle that they supply in here, and you very carefully take the thing, put it on the Starbucks mug or whatever, like that, and it comes with its own matches, which is going to be great because I don't know, but state of California, smoking's like almost banned everywhere. And you pray that you don't burn your fingers. So this is the way you get to celebrate, holding itself up with your fellow office mates. So she told me I had to celebrate my victory over the cancer. So here I am celebrating with you my victory over cancer. And I hope, well, that was kind of my wish was going to be, I hope anybody who is fighting anything, cancer, MS, anything else, I hope that they have a supportive staff and family around them, and that I wish them good wishes. So I blew it out already. And I didn't get any black thing on my nose. That's awesome. Sorry about that. But they sent that to me, and they wanted to share it because they also have a whole other assortment of candles that they offer on their website. And their website is theicucompany.com. And they have offered 30% off plus free shipping with the code MOM30 through Mother's Day. So you still got some times to get that. So that was I really appreciated. You know, they offered it to me, and I was like, oh, really? All I did was have a great support staff, and they're like, no, you need to celebrate. So this is me celebrating. And I think that is really all the yarny goodness that I have to share with you. You may or may not have heard me talk about my friend Jessica, who is Army Wife, Knitting Life. And we have decided, since we pretty much knit the same things, love the same yarn, we are attempting to make a podcast together. She's an Apple girl. I'm a PC girl. So we are trying to figure out how to do a split screen transmission so that we can talk together. While she's in Germany, I'm here in the States. We have a 15-hour difference, so we'll probably be recording this in the middle of the night. Well, my middle of the night, her early morning, or some combination. But we are going to start doing that hopefully in the next podcast. So hopefully you'll see that really, really soon. I know both of us are really excited. She has been an inspiration to me. She calls me Mom, which is very, very funny because my first child was born when I was 27. She's 26. So yeah, the numbers work out perfectly. I can count on her to push me along when I'm knitting. I'm becoming a more confident knitter after 40 some odd years because of things she shows me and pushes me along. Like, I'm actually going to make a sweater. I would not have ever made a sweater without her inspiration. So, like I said, you should see that soon. And it'll probably still show on this channel, so you don't have to do anything. It'll just start showing up with Jessica. It'll be fun. We're both Riverdale fanatics. She is Mrs. Jughead Jones. He just doesn't know it yet. I am Archie Andrews' dad, who happens to be Luke Perry from 90210. Dylan. Yeah, I'm all about the dads. We'll just go there. But that's pretty much the yarny goodness and life goodness. If you've hung around for the shop update, I'm going to be right back with that. If you're leaving us, thank you. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you come back again. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe. There we go. The subscribe button right over there. You'll get notifications when I'm back online. I promise you I'm going to try to keep to a 2-week schedule basis so that we can become a regular in your knitting podcast watching list. I don't even know if any of those are really words that belong together. But yeah, that'll be fun. So I'll be right back with all the other good stuff. Thank you for hanging out with me on the podcast and talking about yarny goodness. But now StitchingPlaza is my bag making company. I do bags that are drawstring and both drawstring and zipper. And so I have a couple new additions to the shop update. We have available in zipper right now, but also drawstring, the spring teacup. It's lined with a peach. And this really is great for holding, I would say, multi-skein shawl, sweater. I keep socks in here, but I also keep my instructions. And so all my bags are lined, and they're a soft, cushy lining so that you can squinch them up. And I'll show you what that is like with this bag. This is my time for summer break. This is Flipflops and Margarita Goodness lined with this bright summery yellow in the drawstring, but also available in the zipper. And when you drawstring them, I like to have extra long tags So they actually go over your shoulder. They go on your shoulder really well. So you can carry it like that. You still have your hands free. But they also squinch really well. The lining is not so stiff that you feel like you're going to break the fabric. So this holds a good. I actually keep 2 skeins in there for socks. Beginning of a shawl, but I could put easily. This has a 4-inch gusset. These have a 6-inch gusset, so you can put 2 skeins. I do heels, toes, cuff yarn with the main yarn, and also because of the lining, these guys stand up on their own, so you can fold them across, fold them down, I mean, and you have a yarn bowl. So when you're at your local knit group, you can do this with your zipper bags as well, but you have your yarn bowl. And I've been asked if I will put snaps in the center as well. So if you're doing color work, absolutely, just let me know that you want that, and it's done. No extra charge on those. But the website is StitchingPlaza.com. These are all new to the shop this week. We have Jack and Sally with a really cool interior. I didn't want to go dark on that one. Even the black on the bottom for this is a black purple. But this is just, I love Nightmare Before Christmas. I must have ridden the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland 100 times every time we went, just because the kids loved it so much. We also have Alice. Again, both of these are drawstring and zipper. This fabric is from Japan, and it's got Alice and the Cheshire Cat, and is lined with flamingos just for Missy. My friend Missy loves flamingos, so I thought of her as I was designing this one. And then we have Going Bananas. Just fun. I saw this fabric and I was like, these are so cute. Green interior, yellow with the bananas. Kids never could say bananas, so it's always bananas. Stands up on its own. Well, it stands up on its own when I actually open it up. But these are ready to ship as is, or if it's not ready to ship, it takes maybe 2 weeks most to get to them. But as I promised last week, we are now making Pom Poms. Pom Poms come in the 4 and the 3-inch size. These are faux furs. I really like these. I'm actually making a hat just so that I can put a pom pom on it. I think this is like faux fox, but really cuddly. And we have the Wild and Crazy, white with sparkle. And then we also have pink, and I also have this in blue. Just more, I think these are more for kids hats because they're a little bit smaller. These come in 2 and 3. And they also are removable on the hat, and they come packaged with the instructions on how to make them removable, so you don't have to sit there and weave in the ends. It also comes with the button that helps make it removable. But these are all listed in the shop, so shop is updated. You should be able to find that, and everything else, I think we've done everything. So thank you for hanging out with me. I really enjoyed it with you. I hope to see you next time. If you have any questions, come over to the Ravelry group and give me a buzz. Ask me if you missed something, if you have questions, if you're looking for something. I will be happy to work with you. Again, thank you, everybody.